Welcome today to today's Global Harmonization. Thanks for joining. As you know, we do 7:30 every single morning Central Standard Time. And recently brought in quite a bit of sound to this, which has been really exciting to bring in another modality besides just the standard meditation practices to really allow us to go on a deeper journey, connect more deeply. I've written quite a bit about the power of what this sound is. If you have questions about it, feel free to ask and I'll come back. Beautiful thing about sound, well, there's a lot of beautiful things, however, is really the passivity of it. That's what's really calling to me right now, is how you can go on a journey, or I can go on a journey just by listening to a song. It requires very minimal effort and actually allows me to practice that muscle of surrender, which is that only muscle that gets exercised by really doing nothing, just sitting back. And it's very rare that muscle gets exercised for many people. So the beautiful thing about just sitting back, listening to the music, listening to sound, is that it can change vibration just by leaning back. So really beautiful. I got a new piece here today that I haven't had before. Let me just share with you right now before we get moving on here. This is tuned to G here. This bowl, it's a crystal tone, kyanite. It's blue, just like the throat chakra. The G is the note of the throat chakra as well. So this is going to help with any kind of communication, any areas where you'd like to communicate better, more powerfully, even get clearer on the communication, which to me, I think both of those things are always, it doesn't even matter how good of a communicator one is, they can always improve. So I know that it's improved my life, being able to communicate more effectively, and every day I look to be able to do that. This right here, this is a Tibetan bowl, much different style, metal bowl. This is actually tuned to the heart chakra, which is in F sharp. So this is going to open up the heart chakra when this is played. So you have just an idea of what these sound like here. This is your, and these guys are actually binaural. So wearing headphones, you may get some of the effect of the binaural. And this actually puts the brain right into theta state. The wah, 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 if you can actually hear that. And we actually just picked up over here this beautiful gong yesterday. So I'll work on getting the microphone in the right position to pick that up. So that's a little bit about the sound that we're working with today. We'll see what comes to life. I think we may use these chimes to close it out. Those are tuned to the sound of Om, beginning, birth of the universe. So that is a little bit different, more tinny sound. You can pick that up. Hopefully that came through in the mic there. So today I was going to talk a little about Inquisition, the questions that we ask one another, and also about the we, the they, the them, those over there. And then we'll jump into a nice harmonization with the bowls, and just start thinking about anything in your life, if there's anything you'd like to transform or get more of. Great to see you, Nina, as always, and everybody else on here. Feel free to drop any comments and thoughts, either addressing beforehand or after. If you have an intention for today, throw it in the pile, throw it in the comments. Just be like, my intention is to manifest $1 million. Whatever it is that truly in your heart that you believe is the intention. Writing these things down is a very powerful alchemy. And if you're not willing to write it down, how much you really willing to give up to actually bring something in, right? Nature abhors a vacuum. So by that illusion of receiving is actually created by giving away something. So there's an empty space for it to come in, creating that space. So that first piece was on the Inquisition. And we talked about this, I think, a little bit last night, maybe yesterday, and how the power of Inquisition is how the journey ends up becoming created. And what I mean by that is the questions that I ask are always going to steer the response I get. So you probably have heard of this phrasing called that's a loaded question. When somebody says that, usually it's a question that when the person that heard it, that question, doesn't want to answer. Right? It's getting me to the truth. So they're gonna deflect. But all questions are loaded questions. All questions have some kind of intention behind it. It's my awareness in the intention behind them that makes a big difference. The main program, I would say, that has been in the past out there, I think this is really changing, was to just ask questions that were polite so people would like me. Right? That's the install that I kind of got. And actually, even today, somebody told me I was being insensitive, which I've heard quite a bit in my life. Somebody that actually comes to these harmonizations pretty regularly told me I was insensitive. And it's an interesting idea to me because I'm actually hypersensitive. I'm hypersensitive that I need really soft clothing. I'm like the princess and the pea around the energy of people around me. I can really feel it. I feel it in a hypersensitive way. However, my response to those people, my response to anyone, may be abrasive to them. Sometimes the truth stings. Sometimes the truth can hurt. However, I'm not going to ever compromise the truth to be polite, to be people pleaser. And I think most of the questions are asked, they come to be a very surface level question, and we don't dive in to get to really know what's behind it quite often. And it's just been kind of the program that's run. And I think there's a lot of people out there that really yearn to be heard at the deep soul level. Like what's really going on, because we all have so much psychologically flowing through us and the cosmic mind coming through and different thoughts that come in. And if we can't discuss that stuff and have the conversation around it, we can never move through it. We can get stuck, right? Which is why people go to therapy. So when it comes to Inquisition, I'd like to just, any question that comes out, just like to invite this practice, or remind you of this practice that you're probably already know. Just amp up that volume on the intention behind the question. So a good salesperson will ask leading questions to get somebody to a yes in purchasing. A good therapist will ask good questions to get the person to open up and release whatever it is that they've been scared to talk about. A good friend will ask questions that, I'm using good as a term of loosely here, so just take it for what it is. It's all perfect. We know that. Or to really dive in, a good friend is going to actually ask questions with some kind of intention of getting to know the individual that's standing before them better and allow them to have some level of connection they previously didn't have. And all these intentions behind questions are very, very important. And I think my experience has been being polite, being kind has been more important for many than saying, hey, I really see you're bleeding right there. You are bleeding. I'm watching you bleed. And the person might be bleeding and be angry at the person. Like, you're bleeding. You're going to bleed to death if we don't do something about it. I just heard a story about a friend of mine who had a heart attack. And his wife was telling me he wouldn't let us call 911. He would not let us call 911. And they're like, can we call 911? He's like, do not call 911. Like literally, guy is going to die, having a heart attack, and he finally collapsed on the ground. So they called 911 anyway. Made it through. However, here there's a bunch of people trying to help him, and he's like, "Don't." And that happens on so many levels. And I think the deeper the questions that we ask, the more we can actually dive in, the more that we get to know each other. And a lot of gold is to be mined in that area, in that realm, when we really hear what's going on in the hearts of the people around us. So I just want to kind of bubble up that idea of Inquisition, the questions that you're asking. So Nina says, yeah, she gets it. Yeah, of course you get it too. Anybody that's direct is insensitive. Actually, I see exactly what's going on. It's so funny. And then the other piece that I just want to touch on before we dive into the sound here is, who is we? Who is they? I hear these two words thrown about. And it's not we. I don't usually hear it as we as this small group that I've been elected to represent, right? Or this large group that I'm elected to represent, or this small group that I put together. Our intention is, or this company that I'm working for, we intend to blah, blah, blah. Usually I hear it in this general sense of we as humans. And this ties into the Inquisition as well. When someone says we, it's actually I. So when I say we, I'm actually talking about my own perception, 100% my own perception. I'm assuming that everybody around me, all the we's that I put into the bucket, have an agreement with me that this perspective is true. And when I do this, it makes it very challenging to actually dive in with the deeper questions. Because when there's a we, there's no one to take responsibility. There's no one to change. And when there's a we, then there's an assumed agreement. So now if somebody has an alternative opinion than the we, when they go to express it, the we already carries a power to it, a weight to it. That is an illusion, because the we may be me and one other person, or it might be it's really just me that I hold this belief of whatever, and I believe that everybody else believes it. And then I'll put up like my guard when somebody challenges what I think we do, right? So it's a very, very interesting word, because we, all this illusion of we is just one. It's just one life force living, expressing itself through different consciousnesses. So this also happens with that they over there. And they I find is a little more dangerous, because they is projecting blame for someone I'm not even including myself in. They need to do this. They need to fund this. They need to change this. They should have this over here. Like, I have zero responsibility in the game, zero power to do anything. And I'm sitting there pointing fingers. And it's a really interesting thing, because what ends up happening is this whole idea of asking questions. Who do I ask? Who's they? Who's we? And when I ask people those questions before I move on to whatever they're talking about, quite often I'm like, well, who's we? And often, or who's they? And I'll be like, stop for a moment. Well, you know them, the people that are in charge. Oh, we, the men, or those people in that ethnic group, or whatever it is. We spiritual people, us people that are so much more conscious and more enlightened than everybody else. That's the little game that we play. We're just so advanced. We, right? But it's not about me. It's about what I'm just saying, what I believe about myself without taking responsibility or accountability for it. And the moment I switch it to the I is the moment that I start asking questions that can reveal in the other, we'll call anybody that's reflecting back to me, one of my reflectors, normally who would be the we, I can ask questions, and my paradigm on what we believe or what they believe can shift radically when I stay in the I. Because at the end of the day, it seems to be that the major program was people pleasing, so nobody's going to argue. So when I hold my vibration higher, then people begin to rise to it. Or I could dim it, right? There might be one powerful person in the room that's going to argue with me. And if I kowtow to that person, if I bow my head to that person, then they become the most potent force in the room. So just some thoughts while we drop in here. And whatever that means to you, God bless you. And yeah, let's drop in and get into a little harmonization with a little bit of sound. Great to see you, Natalia. Thank you, everybody, for commenting, all the hearts and all that great stuff. Lets me know that this is meaningful to you. Pretty cool. I got my father, friend Sarah here. To be able to do this, have a lot of new people around lately, so it's been great. So just hop into that position that you'd like to meditate in. If you'd like to lay down. If you'd like to sit up. I would advise to have either way, to have the spine straight as much as possible, because you're going to be able, this is your antenna, you'll be able to communicate quite a bit more. There's a lot of neurons. Be able to have this straight is very important. Just on a physical scale. But if you can do it, if you can meditate on a headstand, go for it. Whatever calls to you. So just start by becoming one with the breath, breathing in through the nose, filling the belly, and up into the chest. And hold it at the top for a moment. And just do a scan from head to toe. Physically, how are you feeling right here in this moment? And exhaling it out. Breathing in again, filling the belly, filling the chest. Holding at the top. And just scanning the mind. Is there anything that's going on? Is there a to-do list? Is there looping? Am I just thinking about one thing over and over again? Am I anxious about something, worried about something? Am I just creating consciously, whatever it is, no judgment around it, just observing where is my mind right here and now, and exhaling, releasing. Again, breathing in. And now just checking emotionally, where am I at? Do I have a certain emotion that's I'm holding on to? Am I feeling like a massive amount of gratitude and freedom? Am I feeling constrained? Am I feeling anxious, worried, concerned, shame, guilt, whatever it is, just bring it up. And it may be several of these things at the same time. And exhaling out. Now let's take a moment to honor the silence. Just breathing in through the nose, filling the belly, chest, holding for a moment at the top, and exhaling at your own pace. We're going to do 3 of these in silence. The only thing that will be is the breath. And beginning to bring the attention to the heart. And the next inhale, just filling that heart with the breath, noticing coming in through the nostrils, down the throat, into the lungs, and then into the heart, filling the body with light, releasing. And with each breath, begin infusing it with an essence of some vibration that you'd like to give out to the world. So we're going to alchemize the breath, breathing in. At the top of the breath, hold it in the heart and alchemize. Give that breath, that life, that spirit, some love, some gratitude, some kindness, some joy, knowing that somebody else, maybe even me, will be breathing this breath again. And that vibration can ripple through space and time. You can visualize the heart chakra just unfolding like a flower blooming. Noticing how each breath is an opportunity to make peace, to create love. Each breath, opportunity to release, to let go, to surrender, to cleanse with the heart. Just drifting away into the vibration. Noticing the freedom, the courage that comes from the heart. courage, with that freedom in the heart, comes a voice, bringing that energy from the heart and bringing the attention to the throat chakra and breathing in. Allowing the voice of the spirit to travel through the heart and into the throat. So that all that I'm speaking is my pure truth and my heart's intention. Spirit, the life force within me, giving a voice, mouth of God, here at the throat chakra. Listening to the heart, deeper truths revealing. Taking a moment here to honor the silence once again. Bringing the hand up to prayer position in front of the heart, breathing in, pressing the hands together. Press the hands together just enough that the back muscles become engaged. Breathing in to expand into the back. And at the top of the breath, just noticing the vibration within, the frequency, the current, the life force, whatever it is that you identify it as. Notice that light, that energy. Giving thanks. Embodying every bit of this pure frequency of light. So that each word I speak is the truth. And I am the way, the truth, the light, and the life. Gently lowering the hands down. When you feel ready, opening the eyes. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. You've been harmonized. Really love having you here. Great to see so many of you coming back through. And God bless you. Have an amazing, 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 beautiful day. See you back here tomorrow, if not sooner. Ciao.